Good evening again, everyone. Thank you for being here. I am Alicia Atkins, Henrico County School Board member representing the Varina District. I am joined this evening by my school board colleagues, beginning with Mrs. Shea, Chair of the Tuckahoe District, Chair and Representative of the Tuckahoe District, Mr. Madison Irving, Vice Chair and Representative of the Three Chop District, Mrs. Christy Kinsella, Representative of the Brooklyn District, and Mr. Ryan Young, Representative of the Fairfield District. Welcome to our second of 3 meetings to gather feedback on potential school boundary adjustments. We recognize that conversations like this touch on what matters most, our children and their future. Your willingness to come together, listen, and share your feedback strengthens our community and ensures that thoughts are considered and perspectives are valued. Your input, combined with new data on student enrollment and projected school capacities, will be essential as the school board considers options. So where are we in this process? In August, the school board requested information on possible school boundary adjustments. A few weeks ago, we received responsive scenarios. On September 18th, we held our first town hall and launched a community survey. Last week, we removed 2 scenarios from consideration. Those were Jackson Davis and Ridge, as well as Hungry Creek and Holman. We also altered 1 scenario, removing part of the QMS, that's Quioccasin Middle School option, based on community feedback. This process is ongoing, and your continued input will help guide decisions ahead. This school board is listening, learning, and working together. Mr. Young, representative of the Fairfield District, and I will start with a brief overview of the scenarios under consideration. Next, you'll have the chance to join small group sessions to explore maps, share your ideas, and provide feedback. Each session will have a facilitator and a note taker to guide the discussion and capture your input, which will be shared directly with the board. During the session, you'll also receive a note card. Please use it to ask questions or share your thoughts. You can also email redistricting@henrico.k12.va.us. Your input tonight will help guide our decisions. Each year, the school division thoroughly evaluates all of our school buildings and the way in which spaces are used. HCPS follows the recommendation of the Virginia Department of Education, and the functional capacity of each building is determined through an analysis of each room used for educational purposes. Additionally, we report student membership counts at each school using September 30th as the point-in-time date. Students consistently move in and out of schools all year long, and that is why the state designates the date on which all school divisions will use to report enrollment. The 25-26 school year enrollment numbers are not yet finalized. The current year's enrollment will be released to the school board and the public at the October 9th school board work session. So let's look at some of these adjustments. Each of the boundary adjustment scenarios being considered reflect 24-25 enrollment numbers and what's projected in the years ahead. This will be updated once we have this year's data. They also take into account current and new academic programs. HCPS is home to 17 specialty centers. international baccalaureate programs, and dual language immersion programs, with more exciting offerings on the horizon, including the new Center for Cybersecurity Specialty Center at Henrico High School, which will open in the fall of 2026. The division's second middle school center for innovation is set to open at Quioccasin next school year. A new dual language immersion program at Moody for students who are currently enrolled in a similar program at Holiday Elementary, and expanded ACE Center programs, which will grow from 120 seats to 2,350 seats by the fall of 2027. We also have to consider the phased rebalancing of IB middle years program as seats shift to Tuckahoe Middle from Moody Middle School. I'm sharing this information with you because I want to reassure that we are giving a lot of thought to these scenarios using a significant amount of data. The maps and scenarios you'll see tonight have different impacts on neighborhoods and feeder patterns. The neighborhoods on the slides are not comprehensive list of subdivisions impacted. A complete list of all subdivisions impacted by each scenario and all current and proposed feeder patterns changes are linked on the HCPS Boundary Adjustment webpage. Additionally, families may now enter their address into a locator map to determine if or how they are impacted by the proposed scenarios, which is also linked on the HCPS Boundary Adjustment webpage. So let's take a look at this scenario. This is the Carver Elementary scenario, and it involves a small adjustment to move one neighborhood, Patterson West, from Mayberry to Carver. Carver Elementary is actually closer to this neighborhood geographically. The result is approximately 9 students changing schools with no significant impact on functional capacity at either school. Now we're going to look at Quioccasin Middle. When the new building opens in 2027, some neighborhoods would shift between Quioccasin, Tuckahoe, and Pocahontas to improve feeder patterns. This is one of the more complicated scenarios, so we're going to walk through it piece by piece. Students in the Brandon, Deer Lodge, Moreland West, and Sleepy Hollow neighborhoods who are currently zoned for Tuckahoe Middle would move into Quioccasin Middle. Students living in Andover Hills, Mayland Towns, Pemberton Oaks, and West Briar would move out of Quioccasin to Tuckahoe. Students living in the crossings at Short Pump would move from Quioccasin to Pocahontas Middle. Just last week, the school board eliminated the part of the original Quioccasin scenario that would have moved 210 students from Pocahontas Middle School to Quioccasin Middle School. Here is what the potential boundary adjustment impact looked like now. Quioccasin Middle School is projected to have a net loss of 9 students and a functional capacity of 71.2%. Tuckahoe would gain approximately 227 students through the boundary changes and continued balancing of IB seats, bringing the school's functioning capacity to 99%. And enrollment at Pocahontas would increase by 37 students, creating a functional capacity of 95.3%. Elementary feeder patterns are adjusted within this scenario, with Skipwith and Colonial Trail no longer feeding into Quioccasin Middle School, and Mayberry now feeding QMS, Quioccasin Middle School. At the high school level, in this scenario, Quioccasin Middle School would no longer feed into Tucker High School. Now, Fairfield District Board Member Ryan Young will walk us through the high school scenarios.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ryan Young, Fairfield District School Board Rep, and I'm going to walk you through the high school scenarios. First, we're going to go with Douglas Freeman High. In this scenario, the neighborhoods you see on the screen would shift from Freeman to Godwin High School to address overcrowding at Freeman, where the school is currently operating at 104.5%. As a reminder, these are the primary neighborhoods that could be impacted, but it's not necessarily a comprehensive list of subdivisions. A complete list of all subdivisions impacted by each scenario is linked on the HCPS Boundary Adjustment webpage. In total, Freeman is estimated to have a net reduction of 129 students, lowering the school's functional capacity to approximately 97%. Godwin would have an estimated net gain of 129 students, putting the school's total functional capacity around 93%. These percentages are lowered daily when students leave the school to participate in ACE Center programs. Just as some schools are experiencing overcrowding, other schools have space and resources to accommodate more students than are currently being served through zoning and specialty center programming. Henrico High School is an example of this. In the Henrico High School scenario, students from existing neighborhoods and one future development would shift from Highland Springs or Hermitage High School to Henrico High School to make better use of the space. You can see some of the neighborhoods listed on the screen. Students living in Chamberlain Farms and Lakeside Terrace would move from Hermitage to Henrico. Students in Central Gardens and Woodville would shift from Highland Springs High to Henrico High School. Between boundary adjustments and participation in the new Cybersecurity Specialty Center, Henrico High School would gain 405 students for the 2026-2027 school year. Highland Springs loses 67 students. Hermitage is reduced by 171 students, which helps balance capacity at each school. Next, we'll be moving on to J.R. Tucker High School. This scenario is designed to bring capacity relief to Tucker High School, which had a functional capacity of 104.5% last school year. Several neighborhoods would shift to Hermitage and Godwin to balance enrollment and relieve crowding at Tucker. The primary neighborhoods are listed on the screen, but again, this may not be a comprehensive list of impacted subdivisions. If you are unsure if your family is impacted, you can input your address in the boundary adjustment locator on the HCPS website to check. In this scenario, Tucker High School would lose 299 students, reducing functional capacity to 89.4%. Hermitage High School would gain 280 students, and Godwin would gain 19 students. As Ms. Atkins said at the beginning of this presentation tonight, we need to hear from you. In small groups, we will be seeking feedback related to the following questions. Which scenarios make sense to keep exploring? Which ones raise concerns? How should we think about timing of changes, especially for students in key transition years like 5th, 8th, 11th, and 12th? And what supports are needed for students should we proceed? Historically, when there's been a boundary adjustment, students in these grades have the option to remain at their current school. Should that continue, or are there other factors we need to consider? We are especially eager to get your opinions on these topics. When you arrived, you received a color slip of paper with a room number. In just a minute, we are going to dismiss you to breakout sessions. Staff will be available outside of the auditorium to direct you. There, you will have a chance to look at posters or the maps and indicate which ones you support, oppose, or are neutral on. You can also share comments and provide written responses to a series of questions. You will also have the opportunity to let us know what other information or resources you need. Submit any questions you may have. Board members will be visiting small group sessions. We also encourage you to complete the online survey that was sent to families and staff earlier this month. Finally, we want to briefly review our anticipated timeline for the action. The board will review and continue to review community feedback and refine options, if necessary, with the goal of making final decisions in December. Thank you again for coming out and being a part of this important conversation. School board members will be available in the Commons after the breakout session, which concludes at 8 p.m. We will need to clear the building by 8:30 to allow staff to reset classrooms and clean the building for tomorrow. At this time, everybody is dismissed to the breakout rooms, and our board members will be stopping by each room. Thank y'all so much for coming out tonight.